Trust me when I say the government is taking care of the NHS's funds, at least from an immigrant standpoint. Then immigrants can get painted a certain way in the media. I know I'm not the image they like to portray. It's like, if you make it hard for me, I'm gonna make it hard for you. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved over in May this year, and because it's coming up on 6 months, I thought it'd be good to do a video on how exactly I got to move over here and work, what visa I'm on, what that qualifies for, if you can qualify for it, etc. Also, before I get into it, if you're not already, head over to my Instagram and follow me over there because I'll be using you guys for a video in the very near future. So I want to make sure that you can all be involved. So my link will be below, and yes, I look forward to seeing you over on my Instagram. There'll be more Bambi content there, I promise. Visas. Boring, bureaucratic, another B word. I find the whole process very confusing, so I would have loved this video just kind of spelling it out. I moved over in May. I moved over on a youth mobility visa. Youth mobility visa is for people aged 18 to 30 from certain countries. It lasts for 2 years. However, you cannot renew a youth mobility visa. You can only get it once. You cannot have kids on it, and you cannot have public funds. So I can't have like unemployment. I thought, considering there is an election coming up in December, it might be good because there's a lot of discussion around immigrants and blah blah blah. Just my experience, because I am an immigrant, and just show you the process, because I think immigrants can get painted a certain way in the media. I know I'm not the image they like to portray as an immigrant, but still interesting to go through the process, because this process would be the same for many people in London. All you need to do to qualify for the youth mobility visa is to have £1,890 in savings, be 18 to 30, and you have to be from either Australia, Japan, New Zealand, Hong Kong, or Taiwan. So that's so youth mobility I always thought was a Commonwealth thing, and I think, but Japan isn't a Commonwealth country slash territory, so I don't understand why they're in there. But regardless, they're the countries that can do it, so hopefully that will help you if you're from any of those countries. Sorry to my Americans, it's not including for you guys, because getting a visa to America is quite hard. A lot of visas in general is a lot of like tit for tat, you know? It's like, if you make it hard for me, I'm gonna make it hard for you. In America, you make it hard for everyone. So things that disqualify you from having the youth mobility is that you can't have any dependents, so you can't have a kid, and you can't obviously renew it, so you can only do it once. So you can't have already had the youth mobility. So in addition to your £1,890, you also need about £250 to apply. That's just the application fee. Then you also need to pay £600 for a healthcare levy, so like for the NHS. So the logic behind that, which I get the logic, is that they don't want, say if I came over and then I got severely ill and then I was in hospital using public funds despite not paying for tax yet, so having in like basically free healthcare because I wouldn't have paid for anything yet, so you pay the levy up front. However, I still have to pay tax for the full year, so I'm like, I feel like I'm just paying twice. And also I'm pretty healthy, so I don't really get to use much of it, but I understand how it works, so I would happily pay my taxes, and if that meant people got their medication and kids got the treatment they needed any day of the week. But regardless, I definitely paid twice. So I know there's a lot of news stories about immigrants coming in and using like benefits and healthcare. Literally can't get any benefits. Like I can't go on welfare, and I also have to pay the levy for NHS first. So it's not like I'm getting it for free. Even if I didn't work, I would have already paid it. So trust me when I say the government is taking care of the NHS's funds, at least from an immigrant standpoint. They're not worried about us coming in and using it all up. There is one weird asterisk over this whole visa, is that I can't work as a doctor and I can't work as a sports person. I don't know why. Your guess is as good as mine. Because it only lasts 2 years, there is a few other things. This is why it gets so convoluted, which is why I think hopefully this video will help you. But if after 2 years I want to stay, I have to either get sponsored by a workplace, and then that will set me on a 10-year journey to getting citizenship. So I'd have to be sponsored by a workplace and work at the same workplace for 10 years. And if I don't, then say I change jobs, that often happens, particularly over 10 years, your new workplace has to sponsor you again. So every time you change jobs, you have to pay out a few £1,000s or risk being deported. So it's quite stressful. I personally won't be doing that because Daniel is a British citizen, so that makes my life a bit easier. I can go on the spouse visa because we are married. The reason I didn't do that at first is because it is very expensive, and I was too scared that I wouldn't tick enough boxes to qualify and risk the money. So for spouse visa, it is £2,000, so $4,000 to apply. In order to qualify for it, you have to have been like married all together for at least 2 years. We've been together for like 30 million years, so it's fine. And you have to have proof of your relationship, which it's almost annoying because we are obviously legitimately married and have been together. Like we actually got together in 2007, so because we were childhood sweethearts. So I'm like, do you want to see my graduation photos from school? Do you want to see us at graduation from university? Our year 12 formal, my year 10 formal, us traveling all over the damn world. Like I've got like to the point where it's like too many photos to prove that we are a thing. And then you also have to have a job paying at least £20,000, so 40k. But I think that might be household. So that one was the initial reason I didn't apply, because you needed to have a job that pays a certain amount, and you need to have an address. I didn't have an address before we came, and I didn't have a job before we came. I got one when I got here. So I was like, not having those two made me too nervous to risk the £2,000 on application, because if it gets rejected, you don't get your money back. You still have to pay the £600 levy for Medicare, for NHS, Medicare's Australian, sorry. And yeah, so it's still quite pricey to do, and that's why I haven't done it, but I need to do it because 2 years is gonna fly by because it's already been 6 months and it feels like nothing. The only other downside with the spouse visa, which I need to work a way around it, so if you happen to know anything, please tell me, is that from my understanding, I have to send my passport to the embassy or wherever for 3 months. If you know me, I travel a lot. I haven't gone 3 months without traveling in many years. So I need to find out if there's like a way to fast track it, or just the passport bit. Like they can take forever on my application, I don't care. But yeah. Anyways, so that's what I'm looking at doing. Oh, you also need to pay, sorry, that wasn't in my notes. You also need to pay a biometric $80. What that is that when you're at your interview in Australia, or wherever you are, I was in Australia, they interview you, make sure you pass all the things I went through, then they take you into a room and take your photo, and they take your fingerprint and your eye scan maybe, I don't know. It's like, and then I have like a credit card. Your visa physically looks like this because you have a photo, or your visa information, and then a chip on the back for going in and out of the country. So you need to carry that at the airports. So to get this, you have to have all your fingerprints taken, blah, blah, blah. Then they take it off, they think about it, then they send you a letter saying, come to pick up your passport. They don't tell you if you've passed or if you've wasted all your money. Then you get a letter that you have to take to a post office in England to get this, because you pick this one up in England. So, or yeah. So it's a lot of faffing about, but it is worth it. There is common questions I have gotten is that, do you buy your flights before or after your visa? We bought our flights after because I didn't want to jinx anything. But see, if it's like a long visa, like 3 months, like that's going to cost money. I was fortunate that Daniel was getting transferred through work, so we didn't pay the cost of booking them a bit later. I wouldn't spend any money that you can't refund until you get your visa okayed, personally, but that's just me. So yeah, I'm hoping in the future to move across to a spouse visa. The spouse visa, once you tick all those boxes, you have to pay the £80 again, or the $80, whatever it is for the biometrics, to get that remade, even though my fingerprint hasn't changed. The good thing with the spouse visa is that it sets me up on a 5-year journey to citizenship if I want to. So I would renew the spouse visa twice, because the spouse visa only lasts 2 years. Then I have to pay out £2,000 again to go for a second spouse visa, and then after that I can go for indefinite leave to remain, and then after that I can go for citizenship. So it's a journey and a half to get to citizenship, but 5 years is much better than 10. So we'll see how far I get. It's going to cost a lot because that's going to be £5,000 to £10,000 for citizenship, and I'm sure I'm going to be missing. I'm sure there'll be some massive cost I'm missing somewhere along the way because I haven't actually looked at like how to actually become a citizen, just how to be eligible to become a citizen. I'm sure they're going to hit you with one last cost right at the end. So, and I have to keep paying that NHS levy every year, even though I've been paying my taxes every year. So I pay whatever the percentage comes out of my paycheck, and then you also have to pay the 600 every time you apply. So I will apply 4 times, so I will pay £600 4 times on top of my taxes. Might go just break a leg to make it worth it. I'm joking, but also maybe. If someone's out there trying to make sense of all of the online bureaucratic jargon, it is very confusing. Hopefully this has enlightened you, at least into my journey, into how I got here and how I plan to stay. Hopefully, maybe, who knows, we'll see what the election does. Maybe they'll kick me out. And if you're already a British citizen, hopefully it gives you a bit of insight into how fortunate you are that you don't have to go through all this rigmarole to become a citizen, and gives you a bit of perspective on people that move here as immigrants that choose to stay, is that it's not necessarily as easy as everyone makes out, or cheap. God, it's not cheap. So if you found this video informative or helpful, or enjoyed it in any way, give it a thumbs up. Remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time, and don't forget, once again, follow me on Instagram so you can be a part of my video in December for my birthday. And I'll see you next time. Bye.